So very recently, Bioware released gameplay footage of Mass Effect Andromeda. Finally, after many, many requests and the desire for the rest of us to see it. Well, here are my thoughts on it. You're looking at it right now. It's hard to really get a full picture out of a few minutes of gameplay. I'm not going to claim I have a complete picture of Mass Effect Andromeda. Um, First off, I want to say that I really appreciate Smudboy's videos. He had a video boycotting BioWare. And I'll have a lot more to say about that actually in a talk with on my main channel, probably related to sort of gaming nostalgia and pre-orders and whatever. But, I'm probably going to get this game, and I'm probably going to pre-order it. Just because I'm probably going to end up getting the game anyway. I want to test out the multiplayer. Why not just pre-order and get some advantage, small however it might be. It's neither here nor there. It might be a terrible game. The point is, that's probably what I'm going to do. Yes, you can call me a cuck, a sap, a sucker, whatever. But I think in many ways we're living in a kind of post-story age where very few games have compelling stories. I think Witcher 3 was one of the great exceptions, obviously. Just, great story. Bloody Baron, probably one of the greatest stories in RPG history in the last decade or so. Very compelling, very layered, very interesting. And so, in a way, my reaction to Mass Effect Andromeda, and listen to this as a preface to what my observations. In a way, Mass Effect Andromeda to me is whatever the story might be, I can probably accept it. It's probably not going to be good. I mean, Mac Walters is the head of the project, and as Smudboy has pointed out, the entirety of Mass Effect is basically SJWs and far left leaning people who insert all kinds of weird things like, we just have to have a transsexual person. We just have to have a multi-polysexual giant bull man who can fuck anyone. And the level of pandering is pretty insane. But I, for one, think I still possess the ability to kind of overlook that, provided that the gameplay is good. Now, like I said, I'll have a discussion on this topic on my main channel, but let me just say that in this post-story age, I'm just kind of looking for gameplay, and when I do get a good story, I'm really happy about it. But if I can get good gameplay, I'm kind of content. The gameplay looks pretty good. There's some really wonky facial animation, as you can see in the video, but it's not. I think it's something that could be corrected, and it looks interesting. It looks like the classes are back. Saw some footage of what had to have been a Vanguard, as well as an engineer. Engineers, classically, as everyone knows, who goes back to my really old videos, engineers are my favorite. So, with a flamethrower and whatever, that was pretty cool. Gameplay looks pretty interesting. Some concerns I have regarding this sort of exploration thing. One of my greatest fears, and this has nothing to do with the story, because I kind of given up on the story. After Mass Effect 3 just butchered everything from head to toe, I just, whatever, is this idea of scavenging. This, which they mentioned, they said, well, when you start off in Andromeda, right? And what you have is your ship and some other thing, and that's it. And you have to scavenge or steal everything else. Okay. Now, if this is done well, it could be interesting. If you're flexible, you can use different materials for crafting different items, if it's an interesting integrated crafting system. However, if it turns into sort of fetch quests, effectively, even though this is a space opera, as opposed to, say, Dragon Age Inquisition, which had a lot of problems. And it's like Dragon Age Inquisition, where you need X amount of herbs to craft something, something, something. You, the leader of the Inquisition, head out and blah, blah, blah. Now, of course, you're not some big leader. You're the Pathfinder. You're trying to find your way in this new galaxy. But that was incredibly boring. It wasn't fulfilling. It really took away from the game. And I didn't enjoy it, and most people didn't enjoy it. So I'm kind of I'm a bit on edge with regards to this. When they mention that you have to find everything else. Oh, so you just imagine all the guides like, you need the Zorion mineral, which can be found in Quadrant A and Planet B, and, you have to keep on returning to. I mean, that's not what I want to deal with, I think crafting is great. having to scavenge. I mean, the idea that you're trying to find your way in an entirely new galaxy is an interesting idea in of itself. But the scavenging and the crafting has to be well integrated by the gods. If they don't do that, it will be very, very annoying. But the combat looks pretty interesting. It seems largely to be a kind of a rework and some new stuff from based on the old classes. But hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, as the saying goes. Classic Mass Effect classes, which is to say Adept, Vanguard, Sentinel, Engineer, Soldier, Infiltrator. I think that's it. And we already saw Infiltrator action there too. Yeah, I mean, why not? Just make them better. There's a formula people enjoy and appreciate, so you just go with that, right? Now, that's all single player, wonky animations. I mean, I can't really comment on the story, and as long as the story is passable, I can survive it. Multiplayer could be a big thing. It seems like it's going to be a big thing, and I'll tell you why. Now, one of the outrageous things that Bioware has done is pulled this stunt of pre-order multiplayer bonuses that cost huge quantities of money. It sounds like it costs, I guess the equivalent, it was in Canadian, something like maybe 90 euros, 100 euros, to get some sort of consistent pre-order bonus with multiplayer. It sounds like they're really going to go for it, like big time. I have the most concerns regarding multiplayer because Mass Effect 3 single player was a travesty. I think everyone with of sane mind agrees, and many people, including myself, think not just the ending. The ending was an abomination, but everything else too, more or less. Multiplayer was the saving grace. It's what made me want to. Well, I made videos, and those of you who've stuck around know I made lots of guides and gameplay, and I did it out of passion. Just fun. It was interesting. I hope they can do that again. I hope they can replicate the multiplayer experience, at least at that level, and surpass it. They need to work. I mean, they keep the basics because the basics were really good, and they improve on that. I mean, that's what you do. Keep the 6 classes. Fine. Create new variations in multiplayer. Maybe there'll be new races because it is a new galaxy. It seems that, I mean, this is, I guess, related to story. Talk about discontinuity. The fact that, they're at this port or something and there are Krogans everywhere and Turians, and I'm just thinking, okay, well, I guess everyone hitched a ride on some intergalactic, time traveling cryostasis ship. Here we go. Interesting stuff, but the multiplayer really for me is the most important thing. I want it to be fun. I want it to, there should be jumping, I guess now. Well, there already was in a way with the Turian characters, the infiltrator. I forgot his name. I mean, I think they could do a lot, and I hope that turns into something fun and interesting, and will motivate me to want to make guides and videos and just kind of enjoy the process. Really, really enjoyed Mass Effect multiplayer. Some of the best gaming times I've had. However, that remains to be seen. But it does seem like they're amping up the multiplayer hype for whatever reason. It could be a catastrophe, and I'm willing to just sort of sink my money into it and just accept that I've wasted my money. But, at this stage, as Smudboy correctly pointed out, I liked his video, by the way. Bioware it's not really about the story. It's just, hopefully they have good gameplay and it's fun. And I can deal with that. I don't need a masterpiece. I'll leave the masterpieces to CD Projekt Red. It's the only company I have any faith in. BioWare, not so much. Gameplay looks interesting. Saw Vanguard, saw some engineer stuff. Saw the return of the Revenant fighting that monster or animal called the Fiend. Clearly, it was a Revenant. It looked like the Revenant. Classic Mass Effect gun. So I think we'll see a return of some of our favorites, including the Claymore. Many people missed the Claymore. So a lot of stuff going on there potentially that'll just make the gameplay fun. And if the story is half decent, fine. Finally, I have no doubt that the SJWism will penetrate this, 11.5 different romances, and, you can have them each way you want, and everyone is pansexual and professes belief in zoophilia. And I mean, this is Bioware. So we know there's going to be a lot of this sort of forced political correctness, and everyone is gay and everyone's not gay, but they are gay, and Some are lesbians, but aren't really lesbians, and everything you can imagine. Right? This is Bioware, and I've completely lost interest in any of the romances. I mean, to be fair, that romance is something for blue pillars anyway. But um, I remember when I was kind of purple pill years ago with Dragon Age Origins, I found those romances pretty compelling. Those are probably the best romances that Bioware ever created. The Dragon Age Origins romances. They were well woven into the story. They were integrated. It made sense. There were accounts of jealousy. There was some degree of realism. It didn't seem just sort of slapped on like, here you go. Here's a gay guy. Here's a lesbian. Here's someone bisexual, polysexual. Here's someone who likes to fuck everything. Great, go for it. Have fun. But we know Bioware by now, and that's what they're going to do. And the team is just infiltrated with SJWs and racists and all manner of people. So what are you going to do? Let's just hope the gameplay is good. I guess in summary, that's what my video is about. Let's hope the gameplay is good in single player. Let's hope it is amazing in multiplayer, and we'll still have a solid game. Everyone, thanks for tuning in. Those are my thoughts, basically. And you enjoy the rest of your weekend, wherever that weekend might be taking place, especially if you're a time traveler, meaning you live in some distant continent with different hours to mine. Bye-bye, and may the gods watch over you.